Welcome to a very simple, brief tutorial on the process of validation. Validation is the process of determining whether your idea is just an idea or a good idea, one that's worth pursuing. A well-known statistic states that 80% of startups fail. This is because most of those businesses should never have been started in the first place. The entrepreneur's product or service never had legs. Properly following the validation process can turn that failure rate on its head. The validation process that will be taught in this presentation largely comes from Paul Ahlstrom and Nathan Furr's book, Nail It, Then Scale It, a highly recommended read for all entrepreneurs. In life, we're taught that failure is a bad thing, but all entrepreneurs will fail. It's part of the process and should be embraced in a healthy way. So what is meant by failing in a healthy way? Failing fast and failing cheap. Taking 2 years and $250,000 to figure out that your idea is not going to work well or sell is unwise failure and, dare we say, common. But testing your hypothesis in 2 to 6 weeks and spending less than $1,000, maybe even no money at all, is reasonable or smart failure. Smart entrepreneurs fail fast and fail cheap. The first step is you must have an idea. This could be a consumer good, a tech product like an app or software solution, a service, or otherwise. Remember, it is only an idea. Don't get excited about it. Simply put, the consumer of your idea determines whether your idea is a good idea or just an idea. That's what the process of validation will help you answer. But ideas that serve a large demographic and solve a big problem will be the most successful. Before racing forward to validate an idea, you should spend ample time to verify that there is a viable path forward. You should conduct a thorough online search for competition to be sure that the space is not saturated. Next, visit www.uspto.gov or Google Patents to see if someone is already doing it and has a patent that would block your path forward. If your idea matches with any of the claims on an existing patent, you very likely have a problem. Entrepreneurs who get prematurely excited about their idea are more apt to failure because their judgment is clouded. They move forward before they should, and they make decisions based on emotion and not data or facts. You need to determine who will be the primary buyer of your product. Is your product a B2C or a B2B product? This is essential before you can move on. And you may get it wrong. The process of validation will help you nail just who your demographic is. Having determined who our customer is, it's time to start interviewing the customer. In this phase, we are not spending any money, just time. Your interview might sound something like this. Excuse me, I'm an entrepreneur. I have an idea for a solution to what I think is a big problem, and I'm trying to determine if it's a good idea. I'm not selling anything. Could I take 1 minute of your time to ask you a couple of questions? If they say yes, then proceed with the interview. If a solution did this, and then share your solution, would that solve the pain for you? In phase 1, you're simply explaining verbally your solution. You might have a drawing. There's no physical product to be shown. If they say yes, you might ask, how big of a problem is this for you? How do you currently solve it? Do you have any feedback for me on how we can make this the most appealing? Would you be willing to pay money for this? Thank them for their time, take notes, and move on to the next. If they say no, you might then ask, could you please share your thoughts? What do you think might solve this problem? Thank them for their time, take notes, and move on to the next. Remember, you asked for 1 minute. Keep your word. If the customer is engaged and offers comments or asks questions, that is the one circumstance when you might extend your time. Validation interviews will take place in a variety of ways and in a variety of places. You will need to explore the question, where could I find my consumer? If your idea is a consumer good, then a shopping center parking lot, a mall, a park on a nice day, going door to door, etc., might be good places to find your consumer in an unrushed circumstance. If your idea is a software solution, then you might be seeking targeted people on LinkedIn or at nearby businesses, preferably small businesses, that fit your demographic. Virtual interviews or surveys can be a great supplement to the validation interview process, but they should not replace in-person or face-to-face interviews. A person's demeanor and/or body language will tell you so much about their excitement level, engagement, and so on. In fact, the responses from some interviewees might be thrown out because you could tell they were quickly and flippantly answering your questions just to get on their way. You should invest a few hours of time into phase 1 of the validation process. This might be a few hours or so over several days. Go out and talk to 5 or 6 people and then stop and review your responses. Is it going well? Are you getting good responses? What feedback are you getting? Do you need to make some changes? Do not react to every comment from every customer. If you continue to get a recurring comment, then that is something you need to consider implementing into your product. This is called a pivot. Then go back out and talk to another 5 to 6 people and repeat the evaluation process. Phase 1 for a consumer good might include 20 people, probably less for B2B product because the buyer can be more difficult to contact. A moment ago, we emphasized, do not react to every comment from every customer. Opinions are a dime a dozen, but one of the greatest aspects of the validation process is customer feedback. You are in the process of talking to your future buyer, and they are often telling you how to build your product so that they will buy it. This is magical information. Be sure to listen carefully. And that leads us to our next point. When validating, you are in the mindset of learning, not selling. If you're selling or overexcited about your idea, you will not be learning. And as such, you will not be gaining valuable insights on your product. Worse yet, you may choose to go forward with an idea that's not validated because you were hearing what you wanted to hear, not what was being said. If you obtain favorable results to your interview process in Phase 1, then it is time to move on to Phase 2. Favorable results in Phase 1 would be at least 50% of your respondents providing you a favorable response. In other words, they said, yes, that would solve my problem, and yes, I would pay money for it. Now we need to make it a bit easier for the buyer to understand your solution. This means a physical prototype. To be clear, we are still not spending a lot of money. This prototype may be free or as much as several $100s. For example, you might go to your local hardware store and purchase several products, take them apart, or refashion them to illustrate your solution. You might go to your local fabric store and hire a seamstress to create your fashion item. If this is a tech product, you might create a PowerPoint or slides program that mimics how the screen on your phone would look when it's an app. There's no development done, just the appearance of it. Now we're back out in the world seeking and interviewing our customers. The questions and the process vary very little from Phase 1 to Phase 2. But this time, you'll be armed with knowledge and experience from Phase 1, an honest approach, not only in regards to your product, but also to your demographic, and you will have some sort of prototype of your solution. This time out, we are seeking a 70% plus validation rate. Remember, we don't want to go forward with an idea that people aren't going to buy and that's going to result in failure. Let's be sure. If after interviewing as directed in Phase 2 and obtaining a positive response rate that exceeds 70%, you may be ready to proceed to the next step of taking your product to the market. Congratulations! It's not easy to find a product or service that's not patented and then validates. But having carefully followed this process, your entrepreneurial experience should encounter less risk versus the startup that rushes to the market with their idea before investigating whether or not the customer even wanted it and would buy it. Thomas Edison said, "I never want to build something that nobody wants to buy." The validation process helps you be smart like Edison and not build something, wasting precious time and money to build something that nobody wants to buy.